Hey adventurers, welcome back to the channel, and I can't even believe that I am filming this video today, which is so incredibly crazy. If you guys have been following along for a while, you know that back in February of 2019, I decided to commit to this half marathon during marathon weekend at Walt Disney World. What's crazy is that marathon, or half marathon that I committed to, is in less than a week. So, I had several of you guys that have been asking questions over on the YouTube channel as well as on Instagram. So I have my notes here and thought we would just have a little quick Q&A chat. So if you're interested in maybe doing a Run Disney race in the future, you have some questions, you're a newbie like me, and just don't really know where to start, then make sure to stay tuned. Okay, so why Run Disney? That is one of the very first questions that I have been asked. A lot of my friends, specifically in Atlanta, have been asking that because there's a ton of races in and around Atlanta that I could participate in. So that's always the biggest question is, why did you choose a Run Disney race for your first half marathon? The answer honestly is very, very simple. If you guys have been following along, you know that Travis and I have embarked on this whole entire year of Disney with this trip in particular in mind. So it was just kind of a no-brainer for me that my very first half marathon, which is a huge bucket list thing for me to check off this year, and what better way to do that than to run through Disney World, right? So I'm getting super emotional right now. I'm not really understanding why, but I did have some friends that told me to prepare for this because they said you're just going to be very emotional for like a whole entire week and then probably a couple days afterwards. So anyways, you'll have to excuse me if I do get a little bit emotional, but it's just the fun of the whole entire process. So why Run Disney? I honestly, when I was looking at different races that go, you know, half marathon or longer, I kind of really teetered and just went back and forth with a different multitude of races. There's actually a half marathon that's like less than 10 minutes from my house that happens every single October, and it actually happens after dark. So I easily could have done that one. But I wanted my first half marathon race to be something that was very special and memorable, and I don't know, just the, I saw this picture, and I'll put it here now for you guys to see, and this is like the view. I'm getting so emotional, this is so silly. I'm also really, really tired. That's not helping. But I saw this picture and it was so amazing because it's like a guy running through the Magic Kingdom down Main Street. This is so silly. All right, I need to rehydrate and start over because this is so silly. I can't even believe that I'm crying right now. I'm trying to talk about Run Disney and I'm already crying. This is like, I'm already a hot mess. I'm gonna leave all this in so you guys can see what's really happening, especially if you are thinking about doing anything like this in the future. Just know the emotional roller coaster that comes with it. So anyways, so back to the picture. So there's a picture of a guy that's running through Main Street on Magic Kingdom, and that just was like, yep, that's it. That's the race. Back about a year ago, I was watching several different videos from Marathon Weekend, specifically people who were completing like the Goofy Challenge or the Dopey Challenge, because I was just super curious about it. I honestly think you guys are crazy in such a good way. It's so inspirational to see people complete such a huge amount of mileage in just a couple of days. And if you guys are brand new, maybe you're still researching like I am for maybe 2021 or further on, the Goofy Challenge is running a half marathon and a marathon like back to back, so Saturday and Sunday. And then the Dopey Challenge, that still blows my mind because you're doing 48.6 miles in 4 days. So it's a 5K, a 10K, a half marathon, and a full marathon in 4 days. And I'm blown away by it. So back in January of 2019, I knew that I wanted to do something really big, and I wanted something really big to train for. And at first I thought, could I do a dopey challenge? Like, is that even something you can train for in a year? Like, I didn't know. And so I was searching YouTube just to see if anybody else had done it. And of course, thank goodness for YouTube, of course someone had done it. And so I stumbled across, well, and I had watched several of their videos, but I wasn't really paying attention to the fact that Peter Brookhart was training for dopey, and it was doing it very similar to what I'm doing it, to get healthy so you can start a family, just a big race like that. So I watched his marathon weekend, a whole entire the 4 days that him and Sarah, just the whole entire process is so motivational. And I will link all of their videos down in the description box below, because if you have never run a RunDisney race and you're contemplating it, that is the vlogger to watch, because definitely, especially when he does the half marathon and then finishes the dopey challenge when he finishes the marathon, it was so motivational. So much so that I actually went online that day and started researching immediately. Like, is this something I even want to do? Is it something that's even attainable for me? And so what I decided to do, because I had never run a day in my life, honestly, prior to this January of last year, I thought, well, maybe instead of trying to go too big with 48.6 miles, why don't I just do the half marathon first? And then I have a feeling that after I finish this half marathon, it's just going to catapult me into wanting to do some sort of race multiple times. I mean, I've seen it on all the different Facebook groups and RunDisney groups that everyone says, like, welcome to the club, welcome to the addiction, because you can't just do one. So I'm already prepared for that. And I've already, you know, even Travis was like, there's no way you're only going to do one. So anyways, that was a very chatty way of explaining why RunDisney was the first one. But when you guys see some of these videos, or YouTube videos, or different photos that have been taken as people run through the parks, it is the most insane and cool thing. It's really cool. How has training been? Whew. That's a good question. Training's been okay. I will tell you that if you're like me and maybe you're seeing videos now because you're trying to research if you want to do this in 2021, just 100% honesty and transparency, my training wasn't all that great. I was doing really, really good up until about September, which is funny enough, that's actually when the training like really gets super, super serious. But my work life just got chaotic, and I started to become inconsistent with my mileage. Like, there were some weekends where I was like, yes, I'm gonna get that Saturday run in, and you know, I'm gonna be able to do it. And then there were some weekends where it just was not possible. It really wasn't possible. And one of the things that I learned, no matter what you try to do, you can't make up any mileage. You just gotta keep moving forward. You just gotta keep doing it. And thanks to many of my running friends that have done RunDisney races like over and over and over again, they're like, dust the shoes off and just get back on the, you know, treadmill, or get back out there and just keep going. Like, you'll be fine. And sure enough, they were right. I'm really surprised, but they were totally right. So for me, for training, I was using the Jeff Galloway plan, which if you have not been to the RunDisney website, I'll try to post like a screenshot of it here, or maybe even like a video of what it's like. But on the RunDisney website, there's actually a full training list there, and you can do like advanced training, beginner level training, and it has anywhere from 16 to 26 weeks of training, just dependent on, I guess, like how far you're going. So for me, it was, I think, 18 full weeks of training. And so like I said, September and October were really rough. And I was starting to get very, very nervous because when I think in October was when it started to getting past the 10K point. And I think that's when you start hitting the 7 and 8 miles. And then, so what happened in November is I just decided November 1st, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm just going to keep continuing on. And if I can keep doing it weekend after weekend, then I'll be fine. And that's exactly what I did. So November, was also a little bit rough because I got incredibly sick. I had a really, this was like the end of November. I had a strep throat and a sinus infection, and I thought a lot of people, this will halt their training and they'll just give up. And I seriously thought that I was being tested by all the higher powers. I really did. And so I reached out actually to my friend Kristen from Running with Makeup. She has an amazing YouTube channel. I will also link that down below. And so I just, you know, she had been checking in with me periodically throughout my training, and it just coincidentally was that day that she just reached out and was like, hey, how's your training going? I haven't seen any updates on, you know, on Instagram in a while. And I was just, she probably got more than she bargained for, quite honestly. Because I just kind of laid it all out. I was like, I'm really frustrated. I'm struggling. You know, the interval part of my training is really frustrating. I don't know if I'm ready. I mean, I think it was just like all the runner's nerves coming out, like, whoa, like all at once. And she was like, you're gonna be fine. Like, you just gotta keep doing it. Your big run's coming up. You just gotta keep doing it. Just keep moving forward, keep moving forward. And I thought, okay, so I'm gonna do it. And I think it was like a week and a half later was when I was supposed to do the 12 miles of my training. And that race, I don't know why that particular mileage like scared me to pieces. Like, it really scared me. And so I thought, you know what, this is gonna be kind of like the make or break point for me. And of course, when you have it, luck be a lady for me. She wasn't lucky at all, because it was right around the time in December where every single day in Atlanta it was raining. It was raining almost nonstop all months of the whole month of December. I know that I have other friends on here who watch the channel who are also living in Atlanta and running races. And so we were all just, it was so frustrating because there's a beautiful greenway like not very far from where I live that I could just hop on that and just run and run and run. And of course, with all the rain and me just coming off being super sick, I wasn't gonna do that. So it is what it is. And so I just said, you know what, I'm gonna do 12 miles on the treadmill. It's just go time. And that's exactly what I did. So that day actually was life-changing for me, because that was the first time that I had gone that far, gone 12 miles. Now, my pacing was a little bit funky, but, you know, I was on a treadmill, so what can you do? But I still did it in, you know, like, I think it was like right at 3 hours to do 12 miles, which I know that that's slow, but hey, it's better than nothing. So, but it was a really good preparation for me, and it was when I realized, like, hey, this is actually kind of fun, because I got done with 12 miles, and of course, I was hurting. I was hurting pretty bad. But I had known through all of the different training aspects and different things that I have researched that, you know, there's just things to do post-race that make your life a lot easier. So anyways, that was a really long-winded way of saying training has been okay. It hasn't been puppies and unicorns, but I don't think anybody's training is ever that. I think there's always hiccups that come, you know, intermix between injuries and sicknesses and just real life. So it wasn't amazing, but it wasn't terrible either. So just stick through it. Like, if you're training for a race, maybe you're training for Princess or, you know, Food and Wine or whatever race it may be, just stick with your training. And if you miss a couple of long runs, no big deal. Dust those shoes off and just get back on there and just keep moving forward, because you can't make up mileage, but you can keep moving forward. So that's always your choice. So, all right. Oh, the next question. Well, I just kind of answered it, but so the next question is, do you feel you're ready for the half marathon? Yes and no. I am as ready as I will ever be. I have done the training now. I have done all the research on, like, you know, how to fuel during the race, what to do after the race, what to do before the race, how to hydrate before the race. I've done all of that. So I feel as prepared as I can be, but I'm still incredibly nervous, which I think basically I would think that that's expected, especially for anybody's first half marathon. So the answer is yes, I'm ready, but with an asterisk next to it. So okay, so the next question is, what items are you bringing to get you through the race? And my goodness, if this wasn't like the hardest thing for me to figure out, because well, the first bit of advice I'm going to give you is don't try anything new on race day. That was one of the biggest tips that was given to me by Jen LaForge. She's a RunDisney junkie, and she does tons and tons of races, and her YouTube channel is great. And so I remember her saying, either in a video or we were talking on Instagram, one of the two, but she was saying, like, don't ever try anything for the first time on race day. You want to make sure you know what you need for these long runs, and don't try anything new, because you just never know how your stomach's going to be affected by it, or if it's even going to help. So with all that to be said, let me share with you what I am bringing actually on race day.